It is a very cold day, so much so I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get a bit of snow. No, we're not going to, but it feels that sort of a morning. Now it's Monday morning, but my weekend is usually Sunday and Monday. When I worked in old TV land on Good Morning Britain, we would have a weekend Friday and Saturday, because the Friday show was conducted by the people who were working the Thursday night shift. But unfortunately, you had to then go in on a Sunday to work on the show for the Monday morning, which I always resented. Sunday, for me, is a day of rest.
After 25 years living in London, I've returned to my birthplace amongst the mountains of the South Wales valleys. Join me as I journey my new life with plans of growing my own food and ultimately creating my own homestead. Videos are posted every week, so if you like this one, give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button.
I would love to have a setup where you put your bag of compost on a shelf and then have a tap where you can open and the compost just falls out. So this is the new one that I haven't used before. Emerald Gold All-Purpose Compost. Because I've got a few seeds to sow. And I might even sow some... Oh no, I can't sow sweet peas because the pots are in the house. And by pots I mean toilet rolls. Now, I'm going to add a bit of old farmyard manure to it. Here's a little tip for you here. Just pull the side of the bag and it comes undone. So, get a bit of farmyard manure in there as well. Not too much. It's just to give it a bit of feed when the seedlings start growing. So we don't want to make it too rich, but we'll put a few handfuls in. Oh, that's not the task for doing when you've got a bit of a sore back. But nothing beats getting your hands into the old compost and doing a bit of mixing. Oh, look at that. That's better than therapy, that is, lovelies. Beautiful. Now the reason why I got this compost is because over the last 20 years multi-purpose compost has been awful, usually consisting of a lot of plastics. Oh, it smells like a forest floor. That is the best smell a gardener can get. That and onions. Right, mix that well in. What am I going to sow? I do not know. I'll have to look at my list. There's a twig there, but years ago there would have been loads of them. Although saying that, there's another one, although this is from the bag of manure. But they can easily be thrown on the garden, but that's nothing compared to what it has been. I had one bag and I put it through a sieve. 50% of it was plastics. He was saying to me, as an allotment site, they are buying more expensive composts because they work out cheaper in the long run than buying a general purpose, multi-purpose compost, ones you find in the supermarkets. And I've always said, you start off with a poor product, you can end up with poor plants. So spend a bit at the beginning, and it will give it back to you at the end. Right. I'm already finding this shed is too small. And I'd like a workbench where you could just tip the whole bag of compost out. Who knows? Anyway, let's not start talking about modifications just yet. Let's get the infrastructure done, and then we can put it exactly the way that I want it. Right, gotta go and get some pots now from the old pot graveyard. I think I must have the national collection of pots. Oh, the strawberries are looking really well. See, I can feel a few little spots of rain then. Right, we'll get some flat-bottomed pots. And we'll get some of these ones. I have got some bulbs to plant as well. So let me have, are those the largest ones I've got? 1, 2, 3. If you need pots and you're in the area, pop along to the Hirwine Community Garden. That's where I got a lot of, these are very big ones, which are stuck together. Maybe this is why they were getting rid of them. Oh, the mist is down across the mountain. I can already see 2 people on top of it, which is unheard of on a Monday. Don't really see people on top on a Monday. Now, are you a round pot person or are you a square pot? Because at least with a square pot, you can put more on the bench. Right, I'm going to put them back. I'm going to use some of these. In fact, these were new, these are. Don't think they've ever seen a speck of soil. Birds are doing well. Ooh. Some seeds turned up the other day, and I was quite disappointed, to be honest. I bought some calendula, some endive, which is a bit like a lettuce, and some honesty plants. Love a bit of honesty. Cauliflower snowball, and then these 2 packets, which didn't have a packet at all attached to them. Lettuce, Arctic King. I'll do some of them today. And corn salad. But the quality of these packets are shocking. Looks like they've just come off the printer. And half the text on the back is not there. But I can't believe they just went, oh, chuck them in. It's a good job I know what to do with them. But if somebody didn't, then they'd be stuck, wouldn't they? Right, let us do. What shall we do today, say the drunken sailor. Corn salad. No, let's do some honesty. Now, what sort of pot? Let's put it into that one. What's that when it's at home? The honesty plant is the plant that has purple flowers. And then at the end of the season, you have papery seed heads, which you can harvest and put in a vase in the house. So pop a little bit of firmness onto the old soil there. I used to have somewhere proper tamping. Bit of wood. Take it out a bit too much in there. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Now, I need to find my plant labels. See, this is what I want. I want to set. Oh, and these aren't even in a packet. I want to have a setup where I got all my labels and everything. But let's focus on the greenhouse now for the next few weeks. So these are the seeds of the honesty, rather large, so you can be a bit precise when you put them in, not too close, not too far apart. And for things like this and cornflowers, you can actually keep the seed tray outside, because if this was in the wild, that's where they would be. We don't want to mollycolly the things that we are sowing this time of year. Right, I always like to put the seeds back in over where I've just sown. So if they fall out of my hand, like that one did, then it falls onto the soil. And then we'll give it a light dusting on top. There you go. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your cousin. And John is transgender. Right, let us have a seed, what you call them, seed label now. It's a nice weekend task, this. There you go. Where's my... Oh, it's in the summer house, my other table. I was just thinking I could put my other table up somewhere so I could start putting my pots on. Because even for things like this, you don't want them in the cold frame. It'll get too hot. Now, there's my labels. Oh, these are the new ones I bought. Look at those. Fancy RHS type. Question is now, where did I put my little white pen? There it is, it's just behind you. Honesty. There's no variety name for this. And the date, what's the date? Monday the 13th of October. So we'll pop that on the back. There you go. Give them a watering at the end. Oh, my ME kicked in then. I just had to have a 20-minute snooze in the shed here. Not the weather for snoozing in sheds. Right. Let's get on. Maybe it's time for a cup of tea. Now I'm going to sow some spring onions. You can do these August, September, October, November, and even December in a mild year, which according to the article I've just read online, it's going to be a mild winter. No surprise there. So I'm using these cell trays because spring onions, there they are. They're very small seedlings when they come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bunch and maybe 4 seeds per station. Just pop the little black things in like that. Get a seed label and then just pull the sides in and it's done. Simple as that. Doesn't have to be 4, it can be whatever you want it to be. Ooh. And I slept quite well last night. Ooh. That's the thing, you can start the day full of life, but then it comes on very quickly. Now you've got to concentrate with this, otherwise, and I've done it before, you think you've put seeds in, and then you discover you haven't. So you end up with blank cells. Onion seeds remind me of the little bits of coal you have if you've ever had a model railway. Right, one more for luck, and then just go through them again and cover them with a bit of soil. Now I'll put these into a tray of water to let it seep from the bottom up, because if I water them from the top, then there's a chance that seeds might pop out, jump out of the soil. And again, these don't have to stay indoors. These can go out in the open air. Right, pop a label on these now. This variety is Winter Lisbon. If only we had some of their heat. Spring onion. Oh no, not Winter Lisbon. White Lisbon. And the date I said was the 13th of October. Right. And pop them into some water. And I think it's time for a cup of tea. I'm currently experiencing a serious bout of brain fog. So I think I may have a little sleep once I've had this cup of tea. Ooh. Now usually I would cut these videos down, but there's a reason why I kept that last one in its entirety. Because that was the start of a dizzy episode that I've had today, where I become disassociated with what I'm doing, the brain fog comes down, and I feel dizzy, as if my brain is in water and it's going around, and my head feels very full, as if my ears want to pop. So I walked from the homestead. I thought, let's go home. But I thought, no, let's go to the butcher's, get some food and get some milk. And it got a bit worse. So I went into the grocer's to go and buy milk. And I said, oh, I'm feeling a bit out of sorts. And I said, I'm going to walk home now and just have a little sleep. And they were having a joke. Take him by the arm now and walk him down the street now, Doris. And she said, oh, but I'm going in the opposite direction. And I thought, well, the doctor's surgery, I'll come down with you. So we walked down. She went off and went to the natter thing, where they knit and they have a natter, I suppose. And I went in to see the doctor. And within 20 minutes, I was seen. She said, we don't usually do this, but, you know, we can see you're in a bad way. Because all of a sudden, while I sat there, I became very hot and sweaty. So I went in. Blood pressure's fine. She had me to stand up, sit down, do a handstand. It was fine. Pulse was fine. She said, I want you to go out and make an appointment for bloods and for an ECG, which is for the heart. And I said, just to point out, I really need to go to the toilet. So could you give me a sample and could we get tested for diabetes? So she said yes. So we did that. She said, no, that's come back fine, nothing there. So I went to the reception and I said, I've been told to tell you blood test and ECG urgently. So she said, right, well, the first appointment I've got is in a week's time. So she phoned the doctor there and then and said, first appointment is in a week, what do you want to do? And she said, that's fine. So I'm going back in a week's time to have ECG and blood test. So everything is happening a week earlier than it was planned to. So we'll just have to monitor. She offered no solution at the moment because my records are still in London. You'd think these days, press a button and your records would fly. But no, so she's still waiting for them. So we'll see. So take it slow and take it steady. And I came home and there were a few little parcels here. More seeds have turned up, so I've obviously forgotten that I've ordered them. Now these are sowing for next year. But what I thought I might do is clean out the cold frame and have a go at trying to do some through the winter. So I've got Amsterdam forcing and Adelaide. Also got some spinach, which I've already got. White Lisbon, which is what I've sowed this morning. Antirrhinium's Sweet Duet. And peas Micho. And the other thing I found when I came home, because I was running a bit short, so I got some more supplies in. I like these sponges for when you do the dishes. Very nice there too. So I've got another batch in. So 12 more for the stores. Very good they are. So yes, don't know what this illness is that I've got. But we'll have all the tests under the sun and we'll see. But there's nothing I can do now for the next week. So I'm going to have a cup of tea and I'm going to have a little afternoon sleep. Do they still do the afternoon films? I don't know, because I'm usually down the homestead this time. I'll have a look if there's a little black and white afternoon film on, and if there isn't, then I'm sure I can find a Norman Wisdom somewhere on the internet. Trouble in Store, maybe I fancy that one. So it's a bit unfortunate, because I had loads of plans today down the old homestead, planting things, sowing things. But I just feel exhausted, so who knows, maybe this is... I was told when I had the ME, 1998, it would get worse as you would get older, and it's sort of on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being really bad, where you're stuck in bed for weeks and weeks. I've always had it at number 4, number 5. But at the moment, it feels like it's shooting up to number 7, number 8. So who knows? No point worrying it about... Let's say that again with a bit of English. No point worrying about it until we get the results back. Well, but first of all, so we'll have bloods next week, and then however long that takes. Something I'm going to do is, once I've had a tea and settled down, I've got a lemon. So I'm going to do a lemon, and I bought some fresh ginger. Look at that, that's enough to make the eyes water. So I'm going to make myself a little toddy this afternoon. But I'm going to have a cup of tea, go and watch an afternoon film. Are there any afternoon films you can recommend? If there is, tell me in the comments below, and I'll catch up with you really soon, hopefully. Bye for now.